Before we dive in, here's another show you can enjoy in the True Story FM family of entertainment podcasts.
Well, howdy folks, my name is Lester Ryan Clark.
And I'm Keenan Diaz.
And we're the hosts of The Exorcist Minute, a show where we examine, extrapolate, and excavate the scariest movie of all time.
Each episode covers a single minute of William Friedkin's 1973 horror masterpiece, The Exorcist.
If you like deep dives, this show is the deepest.
Did you know the film's iconic theme song, Tubular Bells, wasn't written specifically for the movie?
Or that the 1973 audience members were throwing up and fainting in the theater before they ever got a glimpse of the demon?
Or what about all the crazy on-set mishaps, cast injuries, the director firing real guns?
Ooh. Ever wonder where Ouija boards came from or how they got their name? How about some history on the Catholic Church or the Roman rite of exorcism? Or maybe we can tempt you with some juicy demonology lore. Did you know that Pazuzu had an ex-wife? Find The Exorcist Minute on iTunes or Spotify or wherever you listen to your shows or at theexorcistminute.com. Until next time, folks,
the power of The Exorcist compels you.
Ever wonder what bridges the gap between your favorite film genres, subgenres, and movements? CinemaScope is here to explore these connections, taking you on a thrilling odyssey through the ever-evolving art of cinema. I'm your host, Andy Nelson, and in each episode, we embark on a deep dive into the forces that sculpt the world of film. From the styles you know and love, like heist films or the French New Wave, to the ones you may not be as familiar with, like Turkish Yeşilçam or Brazilian Nordwesterns, my expert guests and I unravel the complex tapestry of storytelling, style, and innovation that defines the world of film as we unpack the myriad catalysts of change that shape these diverse styles. Whether you're a student of film, a creative professional, or simply a devoted movie enthusiast, CinemaScope is your gateway to a richer, more immersive film experience. Don't just watch movies, understand them, appreciate them, and revel in their artistry with CinemaScope. Subscribe today.
Coming up on The Devil's Details, it's a Pope-Off. Dr. Faustus, Act 3. Good morning, Star, and welcome to another episode of The Devil's Details, a show where we dig up, decipher, dissect, and deconstruct the many forms of the devil. One of my names is Lester Ryan Clark.
And I sometimes go by Keenan Diaz.
And we're just two lost souls hitchhiking down the highway to hell. Last time, you'll remember Faustus signed on the dotted line, in his own blood no less, only to be struck immediately with a severe case of buyer's remorse. Seller's remorse?
Maybe just remorse?
Yeah, right. Meanwhile, his servant's servant, that's Robin, remember, has enlisted another servant, that would be Rafe, spelled the proper way, Mr. Fines, or Dick in the B text, which is actually spelled D-I-Y-C-H-H-H. That's a DIY Dick joke, folks.
I wouldn't put it past them. In my version, the history has an S. It looks like an F, you know? It's very old-timey.
Oh, yes.
So.
Yeah. Remember the good old days when Fs looked like S's and S's looked like Fs?
Yeah, so who knows what kind of curves they put in their dicks back in the original text.
Right? Yeah. After that, Faustus asks Jesus to take the wheel. But when the Uber shows up, it's none other than Papa Satan.
Papa Satan, what are you doing here?
It works because it's Uber and it's Germany. And Satan. No, actually, it's Lucifer in the text, but we all know they're the same guy. We're just loudly ignoring Peter Binsfeld's previous classification. That guy was a nut. And so, Lucifer's like, oh, my guy didn't tell you about the perks you get with this deal, right? He gives him backstage passes to the 7 Deadly Sins, which is an okay band. Personally, I prefer the Seven Sisters of the Underworld, back when they played at the Temple of Solomon. But even Lucifer can't get those tickets. Those are really hard to get. You got to be, the Devil's Dam to get your claws on those.
Is that his wife or his mom?
Hey, you know what? That's up for interpretation. But yeah, that's where we left off, with Faustus feeling prideful and superior to those 7 deadly sins. Lucifer has set him up, and now it's up to his new favorite, Mephistopheles, or Meph, as he's being referred to around the office now, like in a good way. Like he's the hot new guy who's going to close the deal, is what I mean, right? Right, but it's spelled MELF, and that's how you know, like, it's cool because the newer demons who don't know him call him MELPH. It's actually pronounced meth, right? But they just think Satan's into older demons. There we go.
They're MELPHs. You're right. Mm-hmm. Right.
They're MELFs. Yeah, right. He's a Mephistopheles, U, as in the animal U, EWE, would like to patronize. Huh? That's the H. Hey. Yeah. Right. But no, we open today on Act 3, and we got the chorus coming back in the form of Wagner.
Hey,
Wagner's here. In the A text. In the B text, it's just a random. Which is weird. Like you would think in the later text, that's when they kind of assign these random nameless roles to people. It's like, hey, this should be Wagner, right?
Yeah.
But they took Wagner out of the B text. It's too much Wagner.
Well, anyways, we have no idea why they make these changes in any of the text, it sounds like.
And we never will. No. But yeah, I'm a little confused with where to put Wagner now, because he also opened the play as the chorus, and then he's introduced as Faustus's servant, and we think, oh, maybe he's going to be, a fool or even the clown, right? But then he makes fools out of those 2 scholars, and then he meets the clown, who now has his own clown. So now I'm just looking at Wagner like who are you supposed to be? Keenan, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm trying not to read ahead too much, right? So I'm doing this week by week with you in each act. I thought Wagner was going to turn into like a mirror to Faust, right? That's what I thought I remembered it being.
Yeah.
And then even him stepping out of the chorus and being like, well, I'm like Faust, but I'm not damned, and so that's why I'm summing up this thing at the end,
Right.
But
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know anymore.
Yeah.
Now I'm reading 2 different versions of the play at the same time, and I have no idea.
Yeah, it's great. It's I was trying to sell Keenan on this, and I was like, no, it's not like Dante anymore. It's not like Milton. It's still early modern English, but we don't need translations. We can just understand this now. But I didn't tell him about the multiple versions.
Yeah, I could read Marlowe, which I read in college, and it was great. I could read Marlowe and Shakespeare. It's these
sure.
Yeah, these different versions.
It's keeping track of all the he said, she said, and all that.
The B said, she said.
Yeah, the A said, B said. Yeah. There we go. That's better.
Right.
But Wagner basically tells us what's coming up. He says Faustus has dedicated himself to the pursuit of limitless knowledge. He has mastered astronomy, gained power to match that of the Olympian gods, and is now out gathering knowledge of geography. He next stops in Rome with the aim of seeing the Pope and taking part in the day's holy feast of St. Peter.
Apparently in the chapbook, I'm getting this from...
There's those chapbooks again.
I'm getting this from elizabethandrama.org in their A-text annotated. In the chapbook, one of the things that Faustus is said to do is to fly around Europe in a wagon with 2 dragons before it.
In a wagon with 2 dragons.
Yeah, so Marlowe, you did a bad thing by deleting that phrase. A wagon with 2 dragons.
Marlowe, this is why Shakespeare won. You had a wagon pulled by 2 dragons.
Yeah, and you cut it for time, I guess.
Jeez. Oh, but we don't actually have dragons. No, just make them.
Right.
Out of paper mache.
That's true. Yeah.
Sheesh.
Or just pay somebody half a loaf of bread and some expired beer, and they'll play a dragon for you.
Yeah,
Just,
right?
You there, boy,
Right.
in the front row, in the groundlings. Come on up here. You're a dragon today. They'll do it.
Mm-hmm. That's one of those lava spewing dragons. But actually, the production that I saw that was done at the Globe actually has Faust and Mephistopheles fly out on two dragons, and they're like these skeletal dragons.
Oh.
And they're riding them like horses, so it's not like a wagon pulled by them. But minus the wagon, they are both holding flagons. No, they were riding on dragons, which were puppeteered by the invisible stagehands. They were all kind of like dressed in black, and they were like puppeting these two giant dragons. They were basically like skeletons with wings. It was really, really awesome looking.
Yeah. Well, bless them for bringing the dragons back.
See, yeah, that's all you got to do.
Correcting Marlowe.
Yeah, Marlowe. All you had to do was imagine dragons. Come on. But yeah. And okay, I love how this next scene opens. We got Faustus and Mephistopheles on stage, and Faustus is reminiscing about all the wild and crazy shit they just did and all the places they just came back from. Don't you love it when plays do that? It's like, wow, Mephistopheles. Yeah, that certainly was an adventure we had in between acts. It was like very high production value, the costumes alone. Not to mention all the stuff that happened. And the dragons. I mean, we completely changed. I feel like I've grown as a person and as a character. It's just too bad that all of that happened between acts. And Mephistopheles is like, why are you telling me this? I was there with you.
Great. I caused you to change.
Yes.
Through drama. Right. By interaction between characters.
Yeah.
Oh, but it was so expensive. It's so expensive. That's why your ticket prices are so high.
Yeah. But no, Faustus reflects on all the places they visited. They saw the rest of Germany. They stopped over in Trier for a little bonfire party.
Yeah.
They went to Paris. They went to the rest of France.
That was probably of interest.
They went to Italy. They stopped at Virgil's tomb, but Virgil wanted nothing to do with them. He's like, I just got back from Purgatorio. I am done guiding people. This guy seems even dumber than Dante. And he's like, here. And he gives Mephistopheles like this pre-packed knapsack for when, you're traveling with a baby, right? And like he's opening up all the little pockets and pointing stuff out. He's like, okay, it's a structured play. Here's the formula. Here's the stuff to move the plot along. Have him take these for his character development. This is for when he gets fussy. Here's the big epiphany he has in Act 4, right? And then they both look over at Faustus, who is now sitting on the ground picking grass. And Virgil's like, well, it's here just in case. And he hands the knapsack over to Mephistopheles, and then he clasps both shoulders and he looks him in the eye and says, good luck. And he gives him a little pat,
right.
And then he turns and he goes back into his tomb and he slams the door, not rudely, but he is making a point. He is done.
He's guided one too many man babies over their journey, right?
Yeah, right. Okay. As a punishment, Keenan, right? You died and now you have to guide somebody. Would you rather guide Dante or Faustus?
Oh, that's so interesting, right? Because we were talking about who our guides would be in hell. So who would we?
But if you were the guide and you got to pick, like it's just like a lineup, and you're like, oh, I'll take, and the last two left, because of course they are, is Dante and Faustus.
Yeah, because Faust is so insufferable. Yeah, I guess I would pick Dante. He's going to ask a lot of questions. He's going to fall asleep all the time. Yeah, but Faust would just think he knows it all.
Yeah.
He'd be like, that's Ness. And he's like, I know who Nessus is.
Yes.
And he has no fun.
No, I have a doctorate in theology. Like even Greek, like all the theos. It's like, okay, great. Yeah. I would rather have a sleepy baby than a bratty baby.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So Faustus is in the terrible twos.
Just no. Just no. That's his favorite word now, right? It's like you signed your soul to me, and after all of this, you're going to go to hell. I don't believe in hell. Okay.
All right.
Well,
Yeah, I'm trying to warn you because I don't know if you should sign this contract because hell's real. Like, no.
All right. We're going to
bring me Helen of Troy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We have Helen of Troy at home. No. I want a wife. It's like, okay, we got you a wife. I don't like this one. Now Valdez and Cornelius don't have wives. But they're not special like me, right, Mephistopheles? I guess not. Yeah. Okay, now you have to be on your best behavior. We're going to the Feast of St. Peter. We're going to meet the Pope. But yeah, okay, so they're in Rome. They have actually teleported into the Pope's, quote, privy chambers, which I thought meant bathroom, but I guess not. I guess this is just his private chambers, which is exactly what it sounds like. But all squares are rectangles, so I like to imagine that they are in the privy chambers within his privy chambers. All right, they're just sitting on 2 gold toilets because the Pope has 2 gold toilets.
Yeah.
One for number 2 and one for... But yeah, Faustus is getting really fussy. They just got to Rome. He wants to see all the sights. He wants to ride the rides. And Mephistopheles has to remind them they are here to see the Pope. That's the whole reason they made this trip with reservations back in September. It is a special dinner with the Pope and then pictures after. And if Faustus is good, by which I mean bad, then maybe on their way out, Faustus can get a little toy Pope. Toy Pope, toy Pope, toy Pope, toy Pope. That's a new tongue twister.
That's a new one.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But no.
He can get one in his, I was going to say Happy Meal. He can get a little Pope, but it gets everything's backward. It's like his Saddy Meal or his Bratty Meal.
His Bratty Meal, yeah. Right. Mephistopheles gets a baddie meal. But no, so that's what they're going to do. They're going to crash this dinner that the Pope is having. This is the Feast of St. Peter, which, we all know St. Peter, right? One of the first apostles, tries to walk on water, can't do it, cuts off that soldier's ear when they try to arrest Jesus, denies Jesus 3 times later, right? He was the first man to see Jesus resurrected, not the first person. That was Mary Magdalene, remember? But yeah, later, Peter becomes the first pope. And so this feast is a Catholic celebration honoring him, and maybe more important to the irony of this scene, the feast honors the established authority of the church.
So if you need this type of thing, Peter Mass, the Feast of St. Peter, is probably June 29th, in case that matters to you.
Well, there you go.
There.
Right? Yeah. So save the date. It's June 29th.
It's probably somebody's birthday out there. So somebody listening just went, that sort of tinge that they have when someone mentions their birthday. So
right.
All right. So I won't discount that.
You have a connection to St. Peter. Or the church's idea of St. Peter. All I'm saying is if at your birthday party plates and dishes start flying around, then I don't know, you might have some extra guests. Yeah. But yeah, okay, so this Pope character in the play, Pope Adrian in some of the texts, is definitely no Peter. In fact, he's apparently not anyone. He's completely made up, is what my sources say. He is not a historical pope, although the pope at this time would have been Pope Clement the Eighth. I had to look at this Roman numeral. Why did you write it as a Roman numeral, Lester? Just do the one you know. Yeah.
So Papacy 8.
Yeah, Papacy 8, right? And even if this isn't supposed to be him, how do you not make that connection even today, right? Like when there's a fictional president on TV, your mind immediately goes to the real one, right? And remember, right, this is a largely Protestant audience and with some heavy anti-Catholic sentiments. So this pope is not going to come out smelling like rosaries. But yeah, Mephistopheles makes him and Faustus, makes himself, Mephistopheles, and Faustus invisible. And the Pope enters with his entourage, along with a rival Pope bound in chains. We learn that this other Pope is backed by the Holy Roman Emperor, who had tried to overthrow Adrian and crown this new Pope, Bruno, as the Pope. And in this scene, Pope Adrian has captured Bruno and is basically torturing him before the feast, which Mephistopheles says is actually more of a celebration of Pope Adrian's victory than it is about St. Peter.
Petermas has become so commercialized at this point, yes. It's supposed to be about the love of St. Peter.
Right. You're not supposed to talk about Bruno.
Right. So there were popes named Adrian, including Pope Adrian VII, who was the pope who had to deal with the Reformation. So basically, Martin Luther comes about, and then the next pope is Adrian VII. So he has to deal with all of this stuff. So so he was like very, very. Well, I don't think it was the harshest pope against Protestantism, but again, like England seeing a play about the Pope here, right? Probably jeering and booing during Marlowe's day, right? Just to have the Pope come on, boo, boo, it's a Pope, it's a Pope. But yeah, I think we are supposed to be thinking about whoever the Pope is at the time. We're supposed to imagine Pope Clement VIII. You know, Ray Fiennes is on path. He might win an Oscar this year for a movie about the Pope.
I'm sorry, who is that?
Ray Fiennes, R-A-L-P-H, Ralph.
Oh, that guy, right.
Ralph Fiennes.
Okay, right, okay.
Yeah, he's in a movie called Conclave, which is a thriller about the Pope.
I keep seeing,
I'm trying not to learn too much about it, but yeah, he's on track probably to at least get an Oscar nomination, maybe win the Oscar.
Well. Okay, yeah. And yeah, so we got Pope Adrian torturing Bruno, and Faustus is mad about this. He already hates the Pope, but seeing his guy, Bruno, because remember, Germany was part of the Holy Roman Empire, so now he really wants to give it to this Pope, Pope Adrian. So when the Pope sends these two cardinals off on an errand, he and Mephistopheles do the classic thing where they, follow them off stage, right? And there's like an audible scuffle, and then they come back out dressed as the cardinals, right? And then they rescue Princess Leia, and she's like, "Aren't you a little short for a cardinal?" No.
Yeah, I think I've seen Mario and Luigi do that like in 4 or 5 episodes of the Mario Brothers show.
Yep. The Super Mario Brothers Super Show, I think you mean.
Super Show.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Right. Swing your arms from side to side. Take that cardinal's clothes. Do the Mario. But okay, actually, the production I saw surprised me. It had the same actors who were playing the cardinals come back and act like Faustus and Mephistopheles, which is brilliant on 2 levels. One, it makes it so that it really seems like Faustus and Mephistopheles actually like changed their shapes supernaturally rather than, just a costume change. And 2, it does away with the costume change, which for me is always the most anxiety-inducing part of a production, right? People freaking out backstage, something goes missing, a zipper gets stuck, something tears, the button won't button. Quick costume changes are the worst. So just have the same guys walk out. It's brilliant. And so as these 2 cardinals come back in, they say they have come to collect Bruno and take him back to be burnt at the stake. And so they carry him off, and we don't hear anything more about that until later, but I think we're supposed to understand that Faustus and Mephistopheles actually like freed Bruno. Okay. Did you get that impression? Like, because they're, they're dressing up like stormtroopers, and they're like, "We'll take the prisoner," and they take, Pope Bruno off stage, but it's them, so they're like, I can actually, I can see Faustus being like, "All right, to the stake, you trade," and then Mephistopheles having to remind him is like, "No, we're not the cardinals. We have to, like, we can let him go now."
Wait, but they're trying to do bad,
right?
So they would. So they would burn him. They think he's the good pope.
No, they like Faustus actually you know what? You're not supposed to let your politics get in the way of your holiday. I completely agree with you, Keenan. But no, like for this story, Faustus is very, very anti-pope and pro Holy Roman Emperor. So he sees this as a chance. I guess this is like his one good thing that he does.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It'd be a good thing, right?
Yeah, right. So
supposed to be doing bad things.
Yeah. Right?
He's not very good at the whole Faust thing.
No. I was going to catch you when you were going to say he's not really good at being bad, because I was going to say he's not really good at being good either. But actually what you said encompassed everything.
Yeah, he's not very good at this.
Yeah,
he doesn't really have a plan.
No. But yeah, so Bruno is carried off by these two quote-unquote cardinals. And then the Pope says, let's all get ready for this banquet, right? And folks, this is where the production that I'm watching ends this scene. There's obviously more, right? We got the whole dinner. But what they decided to do was divide those two parts up and stick scene 2, which is the only other scene in this act, in between them. So I want to talk about scene 2 right here.
Okay.
So imagine if this were a movie, right? Faustus and Mephistopheles have just escaped with Bruno. They're going to fly him back to the emperor, and Pope Adrian is like, "Let the feast begin!" And then he laughs like Palpatine, right? Speaking of emperors, right? And then on his laugh, the scene dissolves, right? His laugh gets a little echoey, and now we got our favorite clowns, Robin and Rafe, our favorite Wagners, because apparently Wagner's not Wagner anymore.
Right.
Or he's not the Wagner that I thought he was. He's the Wagner we deserve. But no.
He's too good to be a clown anymore.
Yeah, right? But no, it appears Robin and Rafe are in some trouble. And it's trouble they got their own selves into. They stole a silver goblet, apparently with magic. Although I imagine what happened is they tried to do a spell and then they just ran away with the cup.
Right.
and Robin's all about it. He is loving his new life as a sorcerer. But Rafe is like the little brother. He's like, "No, Robin, we're going to get in trouble." Right? He's like boo-boo to Robin's Yogi, I think. Right. And then so the wine merchant tracks them down and she demands payment for the cup, or demands the cup back in the version I saw. And yeah, in that version, it is a lady, and our boys get all flustered.
But a vintner who's a lady, this is crazy.
Yeah, right? But yeah, so they still try to deny stealing the cup, and there's this funny bit of business where she searches Robin, and right before she's about to search him, he's like, "Go ahead and search me. Here, hold the cup, Dick." So he hands Dick the cup while he's being searched. And then she's going to search Dick, and Robin's like, "Pass me the cup, Dick." And he passes it to her, and she gives it to Robin, and then she searches Dick, right? Really good slapsticky stuff. And I'm a sucker for that, so yeah.
And they made Rafe disappear, I guess.
Like he's been being called Dick in this. Rafe has been changed into Dick.
It's magic.
Yes.
Behold, he who was named Rafe shall now be called Dick.
Yes. All right. And that's not even the last transformation that these boys are going to do. Just you watch. But yeah, eventually she realizes what they're doing, and she demands the cup back, and Robin's like, "Oh, I'll give it you. I'll give it you." But he's like, "But first, let's see what our friends Beetlejuice and Buttigieg have to say about it." And so he starts reading from the book, and Dick interrupts him. He's like, "But Robin, you can't read." And he's like, "Shut up." And he keeps chanting, and it's all these goofy sounding names. And of course, right, this is where you insert your pop culture reference or your, topical humor like I just did, right? So whatever name sounds funny, you're going to throw that one in there and get a laugh from the audience, right? And so, yeah, as he's rattling off these names, he accidentally says Mephistopheles, and Mephistopheles appears, and everyone freaks the fuck out. I really like this. This is such a funny addition. I don't even care that we're not following the summoning rules from Act 1 anymore, right? This is the funniest thing in the whole damn play. Just Mephistopheles looking around like, where the fuck? And Robin, Rafe, and the wine merchant just screaming their heads off.
Right.
It's hilarious.
He doesn't mention it to Faust back back in Rome, because
Mephistopheles, you disappeared for a moment. What happened? It's like, just forget about it. Forget about it.
Don't. They were using all sorts of flash in the pan pop culture references. Very, very demure, very mindful.
He's laying on one of the Pope's lounge couches, and Faustus has to like get him a glass of water or something. Mm-hmm. And he's just like, what is Riz? I don't even know. And so yeah, the wine merchant runs off. She doesn't stick around, and Robin and Rafe are begging Mephistopheles to go away and leave them be. Mm-hmm. And Mephistopheles is like, for your apish pranks, I'm going to turn you into an ape. And so he turns Rafe, or Dick, into an ape. That's his third transformation, I guess. And he turns to Robin and he's like, and you're a dog because, doggone it, I'm mad. Right?
Well, in my version also, there are no stage directions either. So he just sort of says it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it doesn't say, and then Robin turns into an ape, and Rafe turns into, it doesn't say any of that, so.
Oh.
So as far as I'm concerned, just Mephistopheles going, I transform thee into an ape and thee into a dog. And they just sort of sit there, blink at each other.
See, that's an opportunity. It's like, I'm going to turn your brains into jelly. And then nothing happens, and they just kind of look at each other.
Just kind of look at each other.
I'd like that, yeah. But yeah, in the production I saw, Mephistopheles has kind of like this posse of demons come out and encircle both Robin and Rafe, and behind them they're doing a quick costume change, and when they disperse, both of them have one of them has an ape head and one of them has a dog head.
Okay.
Yeah, but neither of them seems overly upset about this. And they can both still talk, right? And they sort of like scamper off, leaving Mephistopheles alone on stage. And he says out into the audience, now with the flames of ever-burning fire, I'll wing myself and forthwith fly again unto my Faustus. Strictly business. So that's all of scene 2. So now let's loop back around to the second half of scene 1. So this is actually where scene 1 in the A text begins. All that earlier stuff was strictly B text. But I personally like this. I like the pacing a little bit better. We're building up to this dinner, and also we're still sort of following Mephistopheles because he also got ripped out of scene 1 to deal with Robin and Rafe. I think scene 2 is good as a scene 2, but even better as an interruption in the middle of scene 1. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess so. I got to wrap my mind around it because, basically in the version I'm reading, Robin and Rafe have their first scene with the book, and then right afterwards is their second scene with the vintner, and it just,
Oh, really?
That makes no sense at
all.
all.
No, that doesn't.
like it's... Yeah, comic relief, but it's now comic relief from the comic relief.
Right, yeah. Weird, huh? But yeah, okay, so it's dinner time, and Pope Adrian is entertaining another high-ranking church official. My text says the Cardinal of Lorraine, but the production I saw has him addressed as the Lord Archbishop of Reims. I guess it doesn't really matter. They might even have changed it depending on like where it was being performed. Actors know that is the easiest laugh to get out of the audience. Long time ago, I did a tech production for Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, and they did the transition from Canaan to Egypt, and it was like, super impressive, like with the Sphinx and the pyramids rising up out of the earth, and the music was bombastic, and then the very last touch, little blue light at the top of the tallest pyramid comes on. It's like bing, followed by 5 minutes of laughter from the Las Vegas crowd.
Right.
It's like, that's us.
That's us. He mentioned us.
Yeah. But yeah, the rest of this is basically Faustus invisible, messing with the Pope and the other attendants of the feast, right? He whispers in the Pope's ear, right? The devil choke thee. He snatches the food from his plate. He snatches the plate. He makes the goblets float. He's a poltergeist, right? And this is why I think the split scene works so well. We have Faustus entering the Holy of Holies and meeting the Pope. And then we cut to this goofy scene where these like phony conjurers steal a goblet, and that ends, and we're like, okay, back to Faustus, right? He's smart. He'll find a much better way to use his powers. And no, Dr. John Faustus, smartest man in the world with the power of a god at his fingertips, has become Beetlejuice. All right? I'm keeping track. This is the second time I've said that. Yeah. And yeah, the Pope's guest surmises that it might be a vengeful spirit from which has crawled out of purgatory. And far off in the distance, actually in the direction of Virgil's tomb, you just hear, nope, it's not what it is. Nope.
Yeah, but this is one of the fascinating things about this text, I think, is that he's asking for these great powers. This I don't think is a plot hole or anything that Marlowe wasn't thinking.
No.
Like he's asking for these big, great powers, and to fully use them, he would have to admit that God is the ruler of the universe. And he'd have to admit that he was wrong. So instead, he just has little parlor tricks that have no real bearing on anything. So we spook the Pope. Oh, well.
Right.
Pope's probably spooked a lot.
Yeah, right? He's the Pope.
He's the Pope.
he almost had another Pope steal his popedom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's also interesting, right? Like, so this might be Marlowe plot hole stuff. So it's for the Protestant crowd in England to cheer on the Pope getting pranked, right?
Right.
But so we're cheering the devil? Is that how this is supposed to go?
It's a little weird, right? Okay, but that's interesting, Keenan. So you're saying the reason he's doing all of these, like, silly, childish pranks is because he's not ready to admit that he's not ready to go the next step and admit that all this power comes from God and admit that there is a God.
I think so.
Oh, okay. I was looking at it as like we're finally seeing Faustus for who he is. He is just a man-child. Like this is his, like, whether he believes in God or not, give him absolute power, and this is what he...
This is what he does. That's the greatest thing he can think to do.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I never even thought of the God angle.
Yeah, or maybe in the early 1600s, this was the coolest fucking thing you could do.
This is his version of shredding on a skateboard
to the extreme.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw the original Ocean's 11. I'm trying to remember if I saw it before the remake of the Ocean's 11, and I don't know, the remake of Ocean's 11 is just so cool. You know, it's Pitt and Clooney and Damon, and they got an Affleck in there for good measure. You know.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But so I mean, it's a super cool, and but I think I saw the original first, the 1961, and it's the Rat Pack, you know. Yeah. And then before they do their heist, the Rat Pack sits around drinking like scotch and making prank calls on their friend, and they're like they're like, "Hey, this is not your friend who you know," and the other one's like, "Oh, that's so funny, that's so funny." No, don't laugh. He's going to catch us. I'm like, that's just not very cool. I guess in 1960, that was just like the epitome of Rat Pack, JFK hanging out. Cool. But yeah, when I saw that, I was like, that's not interesting.
So now you got to go way back. You got to go to the 1500s. What were the happening chicks and dudes,
right?
You know, doing back then, all right?
Right.
Yeah. And I guess, okay, I was making fun of, Mephistopheles for looking like a guy dressed as a devil. But, I mean, in all the depictions I've seen, like for that time, he does look rather dashing.
Yeah.
Like he is the epitome of, like, I guess today he would be like, you know, it's like a nice suit, you know, like his like, little lapel there, little little red handkerchief, you know, flary thing going on.
Yeah. Well, he might look like Joaquin Phoenix's Joker or something.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Like. But I don't know. I think he might be so. If he would dress as like a little footy pajama devil today, that just might be so retro and ironic that it's cool again.
Oh, so he would.
Like, it'd be really cool to pull that off.
He doesn't even need to change his clothes.
Yeah. Like, that's the coolest, like, Nick Jonas sort of style. Just him going out and being like, I don't care what you think.
Yeah.
This is me.
Wow, he's so cool. And then other people try to imitate him, but they can't. It's just like, it doesn't work with that,
Yeah. That's like, The Weeknd going out in his little footy pajamas. Like, what are you going to do? do something about it.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Yeah, so they're thinking this is a ghost that has crawled out of purgatory, right? And then everybody starts crossing themselves, and our boys mess with them even more. The Pope declares that this wicked spirit is now banished to hell. And this gets a laugh from both Faustus and Mephistopheles, who actually now seems to be having fun. Right? Faustus says, "Oh no, Mephistopheles, what shall we do?" And Mephistopheles says, "Nay, I know not. We shall be cursed with bell, book, and candle." And Faustus says, "How? Bell, book, and candle, book, and bell, forward and backward to curse Faustus to hell?" So they're laughing it up, and Mephistopheles finally seems to be digging his job. Yeah.
Just to give a shout out to a play that you were in, Bell, Book, and Candle.
Right? Yeah, Bell, book, and candle. Yeah.
Folks, check it out. Go see Lester 6 years ago in Bell, Book, and Candle.
You can find me at I've forgotten the name of the theater.
It's up in the valley somewhere. I was there.
Yeah.
Just go look for community theaters up in the valley until you see the one that Lester was in. But the Bell, Book, and Candle was the excommunication ritual.
Yes. So actually, a note in one of my texts says that Marlowe might have made a mistake here because the Pope is trying to exorcise these spirits, right? You wouldn't excommunicate a spirit, right?
Yeah.
So Mephistopheles joking, it's like, oh no, they're going to get you with Bell, Book, and Candle, right? If he was like alive and human and there, yes, but because he's a spirit and because the Pope is condemning him to hell, it's more like an exorcism.
Gotcha.
But yeah, and folks, they both bust up, and there's a really funny bit where the friars in attendance, they all get in line to sing this dirge, right? And they're trying to dispel Mephistopheles and Faustus, right? And they start singing. It's like, "Cursed be he who stole his holiness's meat from the table. Cursed be he who struck his holiness a blow on the face." And while they're doing this, the boys continue to do stuff, and eventually the dirge catches up with what they're doing, and they're just like dirging in real time. It's like a commentary. It's like, "Cursed be he who slapped brother Amos's belly. Cursed be he who struck brother Reynolds a blow on the pate." Right? And the text ends here. So whatever production you're seeing is going to have one final big scare. The one that I saw had Faustus and Mephistopheles on either side of the Pope, and they just like roared demonically in his ears. And then he and all the friars and the cardinals, they scatter like pigeons, and our boys chase after them, and that's it. Yeah, and that is Act 3. Yeah.
And there's no ramifications for that, apparently. There's not like in the movie version, they wake up and it's on the front page of the newspaper.
Right. The Pope has haunted St. Peter's dinner.
Or the CNN has...
Why don't we talk about Bruno?
That's funny. Or the real Wolf Blitzers on the real CNN. An unfortunate scene today in Rome where our Holy Father, the Pope, is chased away by evil spirits. And
what we assume to be evil spirits. Right.
And the boys are just like, "Oh, what did we get into last night?"
Right. Oh, they're watching this on the TV and they just look at each other like, uh-oh.
They're just hungover, yeah.
Yeah. All right, folks, this has been another episode of The Devil's Details. I've been Lester Ryan Clark. You can summon me on all the socials as Lester Ryan Clark.
And I've been Keenan Diaz. You can invoke me on Instagram and Letterboxd as Howdy Keenan.
Yeah, we got our listener group, Banana for Scale. That's a community for all of our shows, including this one. It's a private group. Just request to join, and we'll let you in. If you want more, consider joining us at truestory.fm/join and look for Banana for Scale. That's us. You get bonus episodes of all our shows, access to our Discord, and you get your episodes a week early. Pretty cool. Wouldst thou like to live deliciously? We're not even asking for your souls. Just give us a 5-pentagram rating on iTunes or Spotify or wherever you listen to our show. That and sharing the show by word of mouth or on social media helps our little podcast grow and find more cool people like you. Okay, folks, that's it for this week. Until next time, love and hisses. Mwah!